What if till death do us part was tested before you walked down the aisle? My guest today, Nekel Grant, faced this exact challenge. After 3 marriages, Nekel realized that her reasons for marrying were rooted in codependency and her search for significance. She was determined to heal, and she did the work to break free and embrace a renewed spirit. This transformation led her to the love of her life, a man who she shared her faith and her love of truth. But just months before her wedding, their love was tested in an unimaginable way when her fiancé was in a devastating car accident that nearly took his life. Through this trial, Nekel discovered deeper understanding of love, commitment, and faith. So welcome today to our lovely Nekel Grant. I'm so glad you're here with us today, Nekel. Nekel and I have gotten to know each other over the past year, and I'm fascinated with her story, her life, her learnings, and all that she's been through. And she's here to tell us about what she's been through on this journey. And there's so much to learn from you, Nekel. You are a treasure. And so I'm going to hand this over to you right now and let you share some highlights of your story and your path of love, some of the journey you've been through, and then where you're at today with your current relationship.
Thank you so much, Robin. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I was one that looked for love in all the wrong places. And it led me to a journey that could help, will help, and can help others, including myself. The journey has helped me to get to the place that I am today with a lot of crying, a lot of tears, whew, some real heartache. Heartache, it hurts. So right now I'm 55 years old and I have a son and 4 grandchildren, which I love dearly. And what I had to do is pinpoint where did the disconnect, where was the breakdown? Why did I pick so many hurtful relationships? Why couldn't I pick the one that I always imagined to, the like some people say the white picket fence, the dog and the 2 kids and just the perfect marriage. I always wanted to be in love. And as a young person, even in elementary school, which was funny is they lined us up by height. And this is a little bit how it started. And I was tall. So they lined me up in the back. And I'm like, why do I have to be in the back? Because it made me feel like being tall was a bad thing. These little complexes we develop as young people and children and grow up as adults with these childhood traumas or injuries that we don't realize until not too late, but they start affecting your life, affecting your job, affecting your relationship with your parents, with your children, and you don't quite know, why. But it started with bullying and not even want to go to school because the kid they saw something in me which men saw in me was like a weakness. They took advantage of the kindness that I had, so I began to hide that kindness and become a tough woman. It led to me pulling in men that were tough too, so because I thought they would be able to protect me, but they were not protective. They were abusive. Some of them were abusive and took advantage of me in so many ways to where it affected um, who I was as a person. And that's where got the wheels turning in me like, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? Because you'd be like, I go to work, I come home, I go to sleep, I wake up, I go to work. It was like this is just this. uh, I would be looking around the room and like, am I the only one that feels like this? Like, it got to be something better in life than this.
So,
Right.
Nikhil, you started out early in your life, kind of grabbing onto some false loves, didn't you?
Oh, for sure.
And those came from some of those broken places in your life. So, you've been married 3 times, right?
Correct.
And tell me a little bit about the journey of, okay, so what are the reasons that you married these 3 men? And what did you figure out by the time you got done with the third marriage about yourself?
I wanted to be I wanted to be married. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted people to know that I was loved. I was willing to figure out how to do it, but the other person in the relationship, they weren't willing. It takes two people to be willing. A lot of times we get married and then you want to pull in God afterwards. It's like, no, you need to wait, be strengthened, build up, and know your choices, not pick the wrong choice and then hopefully drink the poison, hope you don't die. No, it doesn't work like that.
Of that first marriage, you married him because how did he make you feel?
He was a handsome guy and he worked with me and was talking to me. And I always wanted to do the right thing. And I didn't want to be having sexual relation and not be married. So I kind of talked them into it. You know, I kept saying, well, we can't keep going on if you're not going to marry me. We got to do this. So I kind of, and I think his mindset said, okay, I'll marry her, but I'm still going to do what I want to do. That's what I really believe he said. And that's why he married me, because he still was gonna mess around, and even though he was married.
Mm.
But that didn't work out. So that was I had my son, which was great. I was grateful to have him, but it didn't last. It was a lot of fighting, a lot of me sleepless nights, him coming in late and making all these excuses and, vice versa. I couldn't deal with that.
So you married a guy that wasn't faithful to you before you married him in
Right.
hopes that he'll straighten up
He'll
after.
straighten up.
Right. Right?
Because he's
Get
committed.
better.
Made this huge commitment, so
Right.
that'll change, it didn't work like that. That's like people have children thinking they're gonna make the guy change. No, pushes them away even more. But then the second marriage, and I shared this with you. My mom would know. She would know. She wouldn't even have to meet the guy. And I'm like, I met this guy, mom. I love him. And she would go, no, you don't. And he doesn't love you. And I would be so mad with her. Like, you don't even know him. And she would go, I know your behavior and how it could be if you was in a loving relationship. You would be different. You would be happy. You would be glowing. You wouldn't be so wanting me to believe that you're in love. I would know it. But I would still not listen to her and be angry with her and go down the same rabbit hole and crawl back out, calling her in tears. And but she would always, hug me and let me know that one day you'll get it. One day
Well, what were some of your signs that it wasn't right or what you hoped it to be?
he will begin to ask me for things like money. And that life right there was like, oh no.
Mm.
Key turn off for me. Like, no, no, you're using me. So I started feeling used. And I'm like, once I started feeling that, I was like getting out of them quicker. I'm like, I'm done. I got a divorce.
So you caught on to that pretty quickly,
I caught on to that pretty quick. And it
that
was,
love and protection and that all was
yes.
there for you. They felt like you were being taken from, if anything.
Yes. And me, my mom used to say I was a runner. I would get out of something real quick. I would leave.
Were there
I
any
would
other signs? Was there other signs in that relationship that it wasn't healthy besides him taking money?
no, his was more of a hidden agenda than a bold, like, disrespect. He didn't really do that. It was just he wasn't in a proper place mentally for that relationship, and I knew that wasn't healthy, and started to go to church then too, and I had women around me that were guiding me and giving me good advice, and I was like, this relationship is it's not working, it's not working, and we both
So
agreed to separate. Yeah,
3 years, that was how long was that one? That was 3 years?
3 years. Hmm.
And then, that was your second marriage. And then your third marriage,
High school sweetheart. So me mentally through the years was like that was love right there. I really thought it was. I'm like that feeling. See, I wanted that pain to go away and I thought that love would take that away. That's what I was looking for, but what I was looking for was me. The love was inside of me. So the breakups, I thought they were taking the love away and I would be like, they can't be taking something away that I feel so passionate about. So it has to be inside of me. And that's when I started, like, putting 2 to 2 together, like, they're not taking anything from me. Actually, I'm giving it away.
So, Nikhil, what happened in the 3rd marriage? What did you realize about that marriage? Why he married you?
He met he knew I wanted to do it God's way. Now I was coming out of a relationship too that wasn't healthy, so I really should have waited. My best friend even said it too. She was like, "You sure you want to get married again? You just came out of this, you know." Yeah, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for all my life. That was my thought. This is what I've been waiting for all my life. This love. And I thought he felt the same way too. But I really believe his motives were not they weren't right because things started to come out once we did get married. Other things came out to let me know that he still was involved with somebody else, and I think he was ultimately trying to hurt that person. That's why he married me, and that was a hard pill to swallow, but I believe that to be true.
That was, like, another 3 years of your life and learnings.
Yes.
And so when you got to that point, you're like, "Okay, another marriage bites the dust." What are you thinking here? What kind of self-realization did you come to?
Oh, why are they coming to me? What is it that they see in me that they can take advantage of? And that was a self-realization. They see a codependent person, meaning I need and want love so bad that I'll do whatever it takes. Mhm.
So, what did you do for your self-discovery to get to know who you are? What was the work that you did?
I sat down with a piece of paper and a pen, and I was about to write some things down about probably all the bad things about me. But then I heard, "You are not a victim, you are victorious." And I started to turn things around about the way I thought about myself. I'm not a bad person. I'm a thinker. I'm an encourager. See, my life had a blueprint. I try to fit my life into everybody else's life, but not my own life.
I know you did a lot of, internal work. I love that you took time to really look at, "What am I thinking about myself inside?" Because that is a key element. When you stop and reflect on your own self-view and your own value, because that's what prompts us to make the decisions in the relationships we make, right? Because we choose people based on who we see ourselves as.
Absolutely.
Did you say, "Okay, now I gotta get to know me. What am I gonna do? Now I've written this down. Now what's my next step to make sure that I am in a different place to have another relationship?"
I had to change the way I was thinking. And I got this book, and she was, I think she a dealing with the brain, dealing with the mind, pretty much.
Yeah.
Name is Caroline Leaf. I showed the book. I got it right
I'm
here.
familiar with her, actually. Yes.
Yeah. And that was huge that I found out that you can change the way you think, that you don't have to be a certain way forever. And I'm like, okay. And it talks about the wiring of the mind. You can rewire how you think about yourself and others too. And I
So
started to do that. I started to say, I am this, I am smart. That's okay. That's what they meant by I don't know who I am. Because if I knew who I was, I wouldn't allow those things to happen to me.
we tolerate so much because
Yes.
we don't know our value,
Yeah.
our worth, and so we don't have boundaries, right?
And I didn't even know about boundaries. And I was start getting happy with saying no to
Yeah, we can
people.
say no.
I
You
could
can
say
say
no.
no to guys, you can say no to bad relationships, you can
Yes.
say no to abuse.
Yes.
How amazing that we have the power to say no, but we never give ourselves the permission because we don't value ourselves in such a way. And I love that you changed this. I want to ask you about the workbook. Did you work exclusively with the workbook? What else did you do in
I
addition?
work with the workbook. Oh, this is the one I got another book here that me and some young ladies did together,
Yeah.
and it's called Queenology, and it's by R.C. Blake Jr., and we sat together and we went over the qualities of a wife, the qualities of a woman. We started learning about who we are. I'm learning to be more authentic of who I am, and when you express your faults and your weaknesses and your strengths, that's what makes you authentic.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about that too. So here you are engaged to an amazing man.
Mhm.
And that didn't just happen easily. You went through all this work, all these
Yes.
marriages. just, in the eyes of the world, failures, right? But
Correct.
use those as lessons to prompt you to where you were going. So you did this work about yourself, you did it internally, you got the right perspective, and then you step out in life, and what happens? You meet somebody.
I wrote this on July 7th, 2023, and I met Everett July 8th, the very next day. I said, I am so grateful for my progress in how I enter into a relationship. It's very intentional. It's with discernment. I'm not desperate. I'm valuable, worth more than millions. So the very next day, we got a text message that morning. Don't forget about the picnic. And I'm like, yeah, that's where I want to go. I want to go to the picnic. Get in our car, we drive to the picnic. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking around like, I don't know anybody here but the couple ladies that I went with. So men started like coming up talking to me. And then Everett comes. And I didn't know his name at the time, but he comes up and he shakes my hand, and it was like a firm handshake. And then I told him my name, and I remember he said something funny. Like, he was like he let his emotions, let his feelings out with me, and I thought that was really kinda cool. He eventually said he was gonna leave, so I said, "Okay." I didn't think like, "Oh, dang, he leaving, I didn't get a chance." I didn't think anything like that. "Okay, he's leaving. Okay, bye." So I turned around, and he's still there. "So I thought you were leaving." He was like, "Oh, the guy's still talking." I said, "Well, come on, have a seat. Sit down, just chit-chat for a while till you get ready to go." And he says to this day, he was so happy that I asked him to sit down. I had no idea though. So he sat down and we talked and we laughed, and then I don't know who said it first. Married 3 times. I was married 3 times. Oh, we thought that was like, because that could be a bad thing. Like, you've been married 3 times, and I was married 2 times. It was a good thing, really. Like, well, we cracked up and talked about traveling, talked about a lot of different things, and then I began to talk about God as well. Soon after, like a day or 2, he asked me, "Do you wanna go to church with me?" And I'm going, "What?" Go to the church? I love the church. It's multicultural. They had snacks and coffee, and the minister was great. It was about the word. It wasn't no just it was just awesome. And then he called me the next Sunday. It was like, "You wanna go to church?" I go regularly. I'm like, "Yeah." And he said that was important to him too. I didn't know that at the time, but we hit it off and we began to meet couples in the church, and they began to get involved in our lives, and they sat down and they studied the Bible with us. That's why this relationship works so well, because I have women mentors, he had men mentors. We talk. Some people say, well, arguments are good. Conflict is good. It's okay to have conflict or differences of opinion, but we talk through them. He gives me the space to be me. He gives me the space to grow. We talk every day. That night we went to the movies, saw a great movie. And the next morning, I beat him to the text message. I was so proud of myself because he texts me every day. He texts me something kind. So I thought I was beating him to the text message. I'm like, oh, that's normal. That's weird. He didn't text me, but I text him something and he didn't respond. And then I called him. So I called and I called his business partner, and I'm like, have you heard from Everett? He's like, no, that's weird. I hear from him every day. I'm like, oh. So I drove to where he was at, and his car was gone, and I'm like, "Oh, he probably just went somewhere and left his phone." But then 3 o'clock came, and "If 3 o'clock comes, I'm gonna have to call his brother." If you talk to Everett, he's like, "No." I said, "Something's wrong." I said, "I talk to him every single day. Something is wrong." I was going to do a missing person report because I'm like, I can't believe I'm about to do this." So when I went to the sheriff department, I said, I can't find my fiancé. He's been gone and I haven't talked to him. I've called and called and called. It's not like him." And I gave him his license plate number of his car, and it triggered that he was in a car accident on the highway and he would have been hospitalized. And I was like, where? Where is alleged? And it was like, allegedly, because somebody could have stolen his car and gotten in an accident, and it was that person. But he said, if it is him, he's in this hospital. Go. He just got out of this was on Tuesday. Imagine. So Sunday night, all of Monday to Tuesday, I was not knowing where Everett was at. So I drove to that hospital, threw those curtains back once I got in there, and that was him. Left arm up, broken bones everywhere. Clavicle, hand crushed, ribs, back, elbow, four vertebrae, leg broken, rod in it. But I was so happy he was alive. None of that affected me at all. I was like, bones can heal. You're alive, you know.
You didn't mention this, but he's a few years older than you as well. So here, 66-year-old man gets in that car accident that is and his car was demolished. I mean, it was frightening, and I saw the video you posted about him actually hitting the car on the road. It wasn't his fault, but the car was sticking out from an accident, right? Like, he
Right.
hit it, and I see you grew in your intimacy even after he went through all this. You really proved yourself as a woman who loved him deeply because you could be like, "I don't want this mess." You know?
No, right.
Broken. He's broken now. Yeah, I mean, you didn't have that attitude, like, you
But
have
you know, that's my personality. I go all in. It doesn't matter. Somebody's in the hospital, I can sit there for hours and wait for them to get out or get the call that they're good. That's a part of me that I can, that's a gift in me to care for others. I have a lot of empathy.
it came
That
handy Andy forever because now he's got a doting, devoted fiancé who loves him more than anything, and she's proven herself, right? She's proven that she loves him, and he was there by his side, and you guys have grown so close. It's been amazing just to watch you in that relationship. So if you had to share with women, single women who are looking for love, what kind of advice would you give them just in terms of knowing themselves?
one main thing is you have to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you don't know who to choose. You'll be choosing based on this other person that you've become. So you won't be matched with the right, you want to be equally yoked with the person that you going to bind yourself to for the rest of your life. So once you have an image of who you really are and what you believe about yourself, that's when you'll begin to draw in not just men, but women and friends, and you'll begin to draw in things into your life that match what you need for your life, for whatever. And everybody doesn't want to get married, but you want to have a loving life. You don't want to be single and still not happy. You wanna be single and super duper happy, married or not, and that's where I equated being married to being happy, being loved by someone to be happy. Yeah, it is a great feeling, but it was so funny, Everett and I were driving down the street to church, and I said, "You know, you still got an opportunity to say you don't wanna get married." It was a joking, but I still was able to say it and not be like, "Oh, no, you marry me no matter what." No. We could still break apart and both be still equally happy. But we want to come together and bring that together and show, not just show the world, but to show God. Thank you for creating relationships and love. And we glad to be a part of it. It's not this high mindedness about, oh, I'm loved and you're not, make people feel bad. You can equally have the same joy without being married. So the advice to a woman is fall in love with yourself. People say, you gotta love yourself. And people are like, what does that mean? Give me some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Show me how to do it. And somebody said, do it. Tell me now. No. So you love yourself by getting to know yourself, your good qualities, your not so good qualities. Find out, see who you are. What makes you happy? What's your blueprint? What's your gifts? What's your strengths? Are you a thinker? Are you a feeler? Are you a judger? What are you? Are you an encourager? Are you assertive? Are you a giver? Are you a servant? Who are you?
It's so profound to realize that we really have to be whole before we can add another person to our life. If you try to add a relationship to fill the gap because you don't think you're enough, you don't think you're valuable enough, you're not satisfied with you, and you want to be fixed with someone else's love, that's a false love.
Yes.
That's going to be
Yes.
and that's going to end up in sabotaging your relationships one after another, which I think you have, explained so beautifully, is marrying these men for the wrong reasons, for just trying to fill that gap of your codependency, trying to give yourself value. And then I just want to be somebody's missus. I just want to be married. I want the status of marriage because
Not be
I want to feel important. Someone gave up their freedom for me, right? But did
Yes.
they really give it up? I mean, do they really love you? So, how is your relationship now with Everett reflecting a different love?
Oh, our relationship is so peaceful. Like I don't have to prove anything to him, yet I do because I have to show love, right? Love is a verb. That's I had to learn. It's an action word. It's something that you do. So I use some of my gifts. I like to write. I wrote him a love letter. I wrote about how I felt about him, and he reflects back on that whenever his insecurities jump in and say, maybe she might leave me one day. Maybe she doesn't love me. He'll go back and read the letter like, oh, she wrote it to me. She told me, she shows me and she tells me.
That you guys can come together and have a healthy marriage. And I believe you can. I absolutely believe you can, that all will be covered over, and you've learned so many lessons. And I just want to thank you for coming here today, Nikel, and sharing your lessons
You're welcome.
women, because there's a lot of single women. This is not uncommon what you have portrayed here today. When we're young, we have these broken pieces that happen. We get treated poorly by family members. We get bullied, we get abused. We have things that happen to us that break us when we're little, and those broken pieces don't get repaired just simply by going out in life. We have to work on those. Otherwise, we spend the rest of our days filling them up with false sense of security, right? Filling them with unhealthy relationships and making that same mistake again and again. And I thank you for sharing that. I have such love and respect. I absolutely believe that this, my friend, is your last marriage and your final finale.
Exactly.
Till death do us part, and may that not be anytime soon.
That's right.
May you enjoy many happy years together.
I want to share one small thing that was really
Ask
huge is if you had a childhood or parents or your childhood, your upbringing, it doesn't matter how bad it was. And it could be it's some terrible stories I've heard in childhoods. And I'm not saying mine was, but whatever mindset that I had about my childhood, I had to know that God gave me the perfect parents. Even though they might not have been perfect, I was given the perfect parents because the trials and the trials that you may have gone through in your childhood can prepare you for success if you change the way you think about it. You can get the best out of it instead of the worst out of it. Because some people are so down on themselves that they didn't have parents or the parents abused them or whatever it was. You don't have to focus on the abuse. You can heal from it and become the best version of you.
Absolutely. Thank you for those words of wisdom. And you're absolutely true. And I do work with women. And I know that through help, through various types of therapy, reframing, getting the right perspective on yourself can heal a lot of wounds.
Yes.
Set you off on a whole different track, seeing
Yes.
yourself a different way. And if any of you women out there feel like I have some broken pieces, I could
Yes.
use some help doing my life different. And I would like a reboot. I would like a restart. I would love to help you. I would love to have a talk with you, a vision talk about your life, and really get a feel for where you want to go and what you're still dreaming of, and maybe some things that are stumbling you up, because that's one of the things I do in my work. So I'm so grateful. Nikel, if you would like anyone to be able to contact you and reach you, tell us how they could do that so that, Nikel's an incredible mentor now that she's been mentored and she's got the right perspective. And if you are a woman who feels trapped and would like to, talk to Nikel about something, maybe breaking some patterns in your life as well, and maybe ask her more details about what she's been through, how could they contact you, Nikel?
I have TikTok. I have a like
And what are you on TikTok?
at the at symbol born BORNN the number 2 love born to love.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
Yes.
So your Facebook page is, Nekel Kell, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So it's Nekel, Kel, there's picture of
Yes.
her and Everett
Yes.
there.
Yes. I can
So
check.
you could contact her on Messenger there, and,
Yes.
or you can go to her TikTok page, and I
Yes.
will put that information, on my Facebook page as well, where this video will be posted, so
Yeah, the messenger is better actually because
yeah,
the
okay.
TikTok would be the TikTok can follow just because I have a lot of content
Yes.
of laughter, growth, marriage, things like that. But
And let me say, we haven't seen the fun side of Nekel yet. She is a kick. And I gotta say this too. You bring out the best in this man. I mean, he's limping around, dancing with Nekel because she is a hoot. You are so much fun. You should see her social media. I mean, she just brings so much joy. And, you're perfect for him. And thank you for just bringing joy to us today. Even through our difficulties, we can bring from that learnings and joy to move forward in our future. And that's what you've done,
right.
Kel. So thank you, my friend, for being here.
Thank
Love,
you.
love you, dear.
Robert. I love you too.